So it's time to say goodbye to corporate bribes, made up and missed milestones, and head to Europe. I'm starting my retirement journey with a bang. Started in Geneva, where my brother lives, and made a plan to go across the Alps, first getting into the northern Alps of Italy, southern Alps of Italy, and across to Lake Garda, where I had my sights to go through along the Dolomites up to Meerhoven, where my neighbor put me onto in the Austria, and then make my way back through the Alps, the best part of the Swiss Alps, as the weather got a little bit warmer late in May. So I packed my bike in a bike box and hopped on a plane, and 19 hours later, I was landing in Geneva. My brother was there to welcome me and show me the start of where we're going to be riding. On day one, we did a warm up into a valley where the Aral River comes out, a glacial river coming out of Mont Blanc. Beautiful first ride, lots of bikers, sunshine, and incredible scenery in this little valley, including this waterfall that Shane said he'd passed by and seen, but I never got to see up close because he'd never biked by there. So it was 80 kilometers to Sallanches.
Now we're in Sallanches, right below Mont Blanc, and trying to get our train is on strike today, so we're trying to get our bus ride back to Geneva. Shane's negotiating with the bus driver right now. We'll see.
So he was successful getting us on that bus, which saved us a light night, and the next day we were able to hit the Rhone River on his stand-up paddleboards.
Cool.
So amazing how active the people in this area are. Everybody was out doing something. It was a great day on the river and very cold still. So the next day we set our sights on Lake Annecy and did a ride around the lake, including a big climb he did to work out how well I was going to handle the climbs. Beautiful view at the top, and of course I had to do a little upper body at the bottom at the lake at the end of the ride. Fantastic time with my brother before it was time to hit the train and go to Italy and start my epic long ride. First thing you come out of the tunnel was a river that flows into the Po River Valley, which drains pretty much all the Alps of Italy. Then a beautiful ride.
Looking good so far. Got on the Tosse Trail off the Domodossola train ride and go along the river here down to Fondo Tosse. So should be a nice bike trail. Beautiful out here. Welcome to Italy.
It was a phenomenal first day riding, getting across the lake with the ferry, and I'd say overall almost perfect. Just a little mishap towards the end.
Well, shit. I was coming around the corner, heard a big pop, and this happened. So I guess I had a little too much pressure on my tires and got hot. Blew up on me, so we got some fixing to do.
Fortunately, it was right by my hotel, so I was able to get in and still have a nice steak dinner and check out the local carnival, which pretty much was abandoned, but looked like they were set up for some fun. The next day, getting into Melnate, I ran into a little problem where they had the trail blocked at these caves. So instead of going backwards, I decided to go cross country.
Cave. Big sucker. Holy shit balls. Nothing go. Hello. Whew. Well, I got on a detour. Definitely not road biking through here. Got to try to get back up to Malnate because the trail was closed. Alright, there's a dog park I had to escape out of and through. And now it's back to the road.
So it was smooth sailing for a little bit there. Got to go through these water fountains on my way to Como. And that's where I tried to get adventurous with my GoPro documentation.
Okay, we drop down into Como. Okay, dropping into Como. Okay.
Yeah, this section of the trail was longer and steeper than I expected it. And just at this part, I just cursed a van going by me, calling me a crazy Italian driver. And then I almost hit the guardrail myself. Anyway, getting into Como was great. It was cold and windy that day, and I'd almost died, so I decided to take the train to Brescia at that point. Brescia was a pretty cool town.
I'm in Brescia now. And I got into my room and I get to enjoy the city. Go find
I think they were
food
ready
for
to
my
kick me out,
stomach.
though, after the way I was trying to talk Italian. So then it was on to Lake Garda and beautiful limestone cliffs as I approached the south end of this lake. At the Sirmione was a castle, which is a tip going out into the lake of land, and just incredible little area. And starting to see more tourists as I got here towards Pescia del Garda, but the area was way more beautiful than I expected, and really not that crazy busy with tourists just yet. So couldn't quite find a place there. Decided to continue from Pescia del Garda up to along the lake until I found this little place up above the lake that had its own pool, and I think I was just about the only person staying there. Caught a wine festival. Only wine tasting brings the Italians together so close. And the next day, headed up towards the north end of the lake. Such an amazing ride along the lake. That lake is definitely a place I want to go back to. And there was already lots of campers there, even though it was very end of April. Probably a great time to be there. And then, of course, the north end was even more incredible. Steeper mountains coming right in, and the formations were just beautiful. I wish I had more time to spend there, but I was wanting to get on to Austria, so kept moving.
Along Trento here, look at this wall behind me. It is massive. Well, first let's see this. Across, looking back south towards Trento, and then this massive wall behind me. It's huge. Muy grande.
Definitely an area I'd want to come back to. I was so energized by the roadside, bike side, food, amenities. Stayed in this place that had a Via Ferrata right above it, and the vineyards.
Just endless vineyards here. And I guess Via Ferratas, you can climb the cliffs, but what gets me is how the heck do they keep this stuff moisturized? Do they just get enough natural rain or what? But it is so cool. You can just walk through these vineyards. They don't even care.
So the next day's plan was head up to Brixen, where I was going to go through the town of Bolzano, up this river valley, and checked out some culture in Bolzano, which is pretty cool. One of the bigger northern Italy towns in the Dolomites, and beautiful fountains, a lot of history there, and just cool little towns to drive through. This is where I stopped for lunch, I think, in the afternoon, and then got to my hotel, which had this great spa in it. Great time for a beer, and at night they had this light festival, which is really cool to see. So after a great breakfast in the morning, apple strudel and gelato, it's time for adversity. Adversity here at the just missed the train. It started moving as I got there and pushed some more bikes on it. So, and unfortunately on the way to that train, I kind of tore 4 hours later than when I started. And otherwise it could be a long day. That adversity was rewarded by a beautiful place called the Rettenberg Hotel in this place called Colsass. And pretty much again empty, but an incredible buffet, spa, pool. And then it was on to Mayrhoven. All right, I've arrived at my halfway point and halftime place, Schwindau, which is very close to Mayrhoven, Austria. Hello, Schwindau. Heading to the pub. So yeah, that's my halftime break, and I'm gonna come back to you with another video of my time in Mayrhoven and later.